So today we're talking about solving equations where you have variables on either side of the equal sign. So far, all the problems that we've looked at, the variables have been together on one side. But it's totally cool because the steps are going to be exactly the same with a little bit of simplification in the beginning. So let's talk about it. Hopefully you watched the intro video and so you learned our awesome song, and let's see how the song can help us. Take a look at number 39. All right, so before you get too crazy, draw your fence as a line, separating the equation by the equal sign. All right, so far so good. Now we have to check for distribution, then you can combine like terms on the same side. Do we have any distribution here? No. Check for distribution, then you can combine like terms on the same side. So we have on this side, we've got 14 and negative x. Those are not like terms because the variables are not exactly the same, so we cannot combine those. But on the other side, we have negative 5x and plus 6x. Those are like terms, so we can combine those. We can combine those because they both have an x. So I'm going to take a negative 5 and a positive 6 and combine them together to get a positive 1. So this is positive 1x. Everything else comes down exactly the same. So all I did was, this side was already simplified. I simplified this side by combining like terms. Now, the next part of the song says, get your variables here, get your constants there. That means your variables terms have to be on one side of the equation and your constant terms have to be on the other side of the equation. It doesn't matter which side you pick, all right? But the important thing is to put the variables on one side and the constants, the numbers, on the other side. How do we do that? We do the inverse operation just to keep things fair. But here I have a constant on the left. I don't have any constants over on the right. So I'm going to put this variable on the right side. And to do that, I'm going to do the inverse operation. So it was a minus x. I'm going to do a plus x. And I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to line it up underneath the x that's already there. And go ahead and combine those like terms. So 1x plus 1x gives me 2x. Here, a negative 1x and a positive 1x will cancel, and I'll just be left with 14. All right, so do the inverse operation just to keep things fair. Subtract and add first till they're on their own side, which is what we have now. The variable term is on this side, and the constant term is on this side. Then it's time to divide. Well, divide by what? Divide by the number that's attached to your variable, because remember, our whole goal to solve the equation is to get the unknown, or the variable, all alone. So I want this guy to be all alone, nothing else attached. So I'm going to divide by 2, and here it will cancel, and here it will become 7 equals x is all alone, and I am finally done. Let's take a look at another one. Number 40. Let's see, before you get too crazy, draw your fence as a line, separating the equation by the equal sign. Check for distribution. I don't have any. Then you can combine like terms on the same side. Well, let's see, 15, negative 7v. Those aren't like terms. I can't combine them. V plus 7. Those aren't like terms. I can't combine those either. On to the next part. Get your variables here, put your constants there, do the inverse operation just to keep things fair. So I need to move some things around here. I'm going to keep my variables on the left, and I'm going to put my constants on the right. And how do I do that? I do the inverse operation. This is a plus v, so I'm going to do a minus v. Minus v. That gives me negative 7 and a negative 1 gives me negative 8v. Over here, on this side of my equal sign, it will cancel, and I'm just left with 7. And my 15, I got to remember to bring that down too. So the only thing that changed was I took this positive v and moved it over by the inverse operation. Now I'm going to take this constant term, 15, and I want to move it to the other side as well. Right now it's a positive 15. I'm going to do a minus 15. So here they cancel. I have negative 8v equals positive 7 and negative 15 gives me negative 8. And then divide both sides by negative 8 to get my v all alone. And v is equal to 1. Fantastic. Let's take a look at one more before you try some of these on your own. All right, 42. Before you get too crazy, draw your fence as a line, separating the equation by the equal sign. Check for distribution. Nope. Then you can combine like terms on the same side. So here I've got 7 and plus 4n. I can't combine them because they're not like terms. Here I've got 9, negative 2n plus 4n. These two are like terms, and they're on the same side, so I can combine them. Negative 2 and positive 4 gives me a positive 2n. Bring everything else down. Nothing else has changed. All I did was combine like terms. Now, get your variables here, put your constants there, do the inverse operation just to keep things fair. So my variables I'm going to move to my left using inverse operations. I want this positive 2n to move, so I'm going to do negative 2n. So that gives me positive 2n, my 7 is still here, equals 9, and here these cancel. Now I want to move this 7 over to the other side. Got my variables here, put my constants there. Do the inverse operation just to keep things fair. Subtract and add first, which we don't have to do because now there isn't any. Then it's time to divide. Divide by 2, divide by 2. That will cancel, and I'm left with n equals 2 over 2, which is just 1. Fantastic. Why don't you take a look at 41, 43, and 44, see if you can get those on your own. Pause the video and take a look and see if you got these correct. If you have any questions, feel free to bring them to class tomorrow. You still need to finish level 2 and level 3, so keep watching those videos if you need some support. But if you feel like you've got it, you can just sail right through.